2019 till now, you know, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. God has been faithful to me. God has shown me what it means to experience love in the midst of chaos.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute. By the way, just got in town, but I won't let.
Hi guys, welcome to another video on the channel. My name is Mo and I'm super excited to be talking to you today. If you're already part of the tribe, thank you for always coming through, and if this is your first time watching my video, please stay, join the tribe. It's all fun, love, good energy, good vibes here, and I really would like you to be a part of the family. All you have to do is subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, right? And also comment. I want to read from you and you get to know what you think, and also hear from you, your opinions, your suggestions, your encouragements. Everything is necessary and needed. Today I'll be sharing a story about a part of my life, a story that I would say was quite challenging, but at the same time played a major role in how much I have grown as a person today. And I just hope that this video encourages somebody as well. Maybe you're going through a lot and you can't just find the vibe to keep going. Everything just seems like nothing makes sense. It just feels like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Where am I going to? Life is just at a standstill for you. I want you to watch this video, and I'm hoping that at the end of this video you see you're encouraged to push on. You eventually see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you take those steps that you have been very weary of taking. Let's get right into it. Story. Okay, this was 2015, right? We're going back to 2015. Okay, so I didn't grow up in Lagos. I currently live in Lagos, Nigeria, but I did not grow up in Lagos, Nigeria. I grew up in Ibadan. My parents stay in Ibadan, my brother is in Ibadan, and that's where I grew up. Other than university, I schooled in Ekiti State University in Ekiti State. And 2015, okay, so my 200 level was the point where I realized that my life was going to take a turn. So I studied computer science in the university, but I knew that it wasn't what I wanted to do. Somehow I just liked the tone that computer science gave. I'm a computer scientist, money, tech, everything was just making sense after I wrote JAM. And then I wrote JAM, but then thankfully I got the course of my choice in university. And then my dad was also into security surveillance, CCTV and the likes of it. So somehow it just made sense to be a computer scientist. My 200 level, I just realized that, man, this course is not for the faint-hearted. You have to know it. And I was not just into it. I, at that point, realized that I wanted to be more expressive. I liked everything that had to do with creativity, talking. I knew that at that point, I wanted to become an OAP. That's an on-air personality. So the next step was finish school now and get your degree, and then you can have any other conversation you want to have. So I went on and then finished in university, got my certificate. Now this was in 2014. By 2014, I started telling my dad and my parents that I wanted to become a radio presenter. I wanted to go to Lagos, and it was seeming like then my dad didn't understand why after finishing with a good grade or a good degree in computer science, you now want to be a radio personality. But it was what I wanted. I'm the last born and the only girl, so that also made my dad a little attached to me as a child. You're a girl, you're the last born, so it's like you're going to Lagos, a place where there are many wolves and tigers and lions. It was quite concerned for me, but I was very adamant. I wanted to go to Lagos. It was Lagos or no other place. So after university, my dad they worked my NYSC to Ibadan again. So I served up till 2015. My NYSC was supposed to end December 2015, and by November I started planning my escape routes. So at this point I'm like, how can I leave the house without being on this man's bad side, because my dad was serious about me not living in Ibadan. He was serious about me not going to Lagos. He was very protective of me, and for a man, I mean, parents, people who don't live in Lagos, there used to be this impression, I don't know if there still is, but there used to be that impression of how bad Lagos is. Lagos is a very terrible place. It's not for, you have to be sharp, etc. So he had those fears as well. But then November 2015, I just decided that, you know what, I'm done. Because at that point, my dad was already trying to see how to get me a radio job in Ibadan. If you want to do radio presenting, you do it in Ibadan. Like, as long as it is here, that is okay. And I just did not want Ibadan. I didn't want Ibadan. That Lagos, I wanted to be in that Lagos. So when he was beginning to have conversations around me working in Ibadan, I knew that, man, if you don't start to plan your escape routes now, this is it. This is the end. So I found out about a radio course at Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria in Ikeja. We were doing like a 3 months presentation, or so because my dad had agreed, at least he had agreed to radio presenting, but the shout had to be in Ibadan. It was like perfect timing. So I went to meet him and I told him that, oh, daddy, for this radio presenting course I want to do, I need to take for this radio presenting job I want to do, I need to take a course, so I can learn better, I can know the right things to do. I found out this course in Lagos again. And it was like, he looked at me, he was a bit skeptical, like, but I convinced him, like, daddy, I don't want to take this course, and once I'm done with this course, I'll come back to Ibadan and I'll come and do this radio thing. Let me just gain knowledge, yada. And then my dad gave in. I came to Lagos, and honestly, genuinely, I went for that course. Now, this is where the story starts. See, all the things I've been saying since, it's just preamble. It's just a build-up to the story. So I came to Lagos in December 2015, and the condition my dad had given me at the time was that if you're going to stay in Lagos, you have to stay with your cousin. And that was okay. I mean, as long as I'm sure in Lagos, no problem. So I stayed with my cousin, and she had just gotten married at the time. So I started taking this FRCN course, and my cousin then was working in Ikeja, and then she would drop me off and then she would go to work, and everything was going well until some things started going wrong. Now, I don't know what the source of these things were, but what I could term it to be was just that a lot of times when you stay with people that are not family, it is very natural that you guys will have one or two issues that will create some sort of conflict. Right now, this cousin of mine, we're closer when I was younger, like way younger. I used to go to their place for holidays and stuff, but we didn't talk for a long time. We didn't talk for years until I had to stay at her place. So I won't say we had a bond prior to that time, or we had a connection prior to that time. And I think that was one of the things that more like was a catalyst to all that happened. Long story short, we fell out. We had issues in the house. It started to seem like I wasn't doing things right, and everything was just not working well. She wasn't just pleased with certain things I was doing, and I don't fault her for it. Like, in hindsight, it's easy for me to understand, just like I said, staying with people is not the easiest thing. In fact, you and your family can stay together and you guys still have issues, right? So it wasn't so easy for me, because we're two different people. We have two different personalities. I'm probably doing something that I think is right, and she's looking at it like, what are you doing? And she's getting upset. It was shy a lot, and then I had to leave her house in the funniest way. It wasn't like my time was done. My course had finished 3 months after, and I didn't go back to Ibadan. So at this point, my dad is pissed with me. My dad is upset, and instead, of course, telling me I'm rebellious, because the arrangement was that I was going to do the course for 3 months, and I was going to come back to Ibadan. And me, on the other hand, I knew I wasn't going to go back. So he was pissed. He felt like, it was like, I played on his intelligence. I lied to him. I wasn't being a honest person. And then it was more like, come back. So he started to like give me that come back home. And me, I was saying, I'm not coming back. My mom would call me, she'll be pissed and upset and telling me that I should stop being that person, I should come back. So, it was a lot. And this time, remember that I'm having issues with my cousin as well. And there was no I could have told my dad. There's no I could have told my dad that, I'm not coming home, and then tell him again that where you said I should stay, we're having issues, and it was just a lot. So at this point, I just had to I had to decide to look after myself. So I knew I wasn't going back to Ibadan yet. At the same time, I knew I had to leave my cousin's house just so that peace can. I didn't want to tamper with that relationship that we had built. And if I had stayed longer in that house, things would have gotten way, way, way bad. So I just had to leave. So I left, and then I had to stay with a friend of mine, and that was the second chapter of my life. Stayed with this friend of mine. She was staying in a small self-contained at the time, and till today, I'm everly thankful that she took me in. We're currently not friends anymore. Life happened, but I'll always be thankful that she took me in, because our space at the time was a very small space. It was very small for even one person, and if your space is small for one person and you still decide to take somebody in, it only just shows that somewhere in your heart, somewhere in there is a good place. You get. So I was staying with her, and at that point it just seemed like a good place to just calm down from everything that had happened. Popsy not talking to me. At this point my dad was not even speaking to me. He was not even speaking to me. He was literally done with me. And of course, I mean, thinking about it now, he was pissed. Imagine what he might have told the person that owned the radio station in Ibadan. My daughter is coming to work with you, and then it's like, Motunde is not coming back. It just felt bad. And maybe people love differently. Out of the love he has and had for me, it was a thing of maybe if I'm a little strict and I instruct her to come back, she'll come back. But then I didn't come back, so he was not even speaking to me anymore. And then at some point, he had more like to also make me come back. He said if I decide to stay in Lagos, he owes me no financial obligation. At that point, money was not going to be coming to me anymore. I was on my own. So I started staying with this friend of mine, and she had a little jobs that she was doing. I didn't have any job. I didn't have a job. So at this time in my life, I was living based on, borrows and dash me, so I would reach out to people to say, okay, please, if I get a little emotional in this video, please just permit me. Right. I would reach out to people then and just ask them to borrow me money and just give me money, because I didn't have a job, and Lagos was a place at the time that I didn't know anybody. I mean, I had cousins in Lagos, but these were cousins that we didn't really have a relationship. So the only person I knew would have been my cousin, who at this point I had left her house without my parents even knowing that I'd left her house. So I moved to my friend's place, and it was a struggle. I would call my best friend at the time to send me money, call this person to send me money, call up. I just had to survive. I had to really, really survive. So back to the conversation of this, just like it happened with my cousin, staying with somebody who was different from you, or who is different from you, personality wise, perspective wise, ideology wise, everything is just different. I think I stayed at my friend's place for 6 months, and by the 3rd month things started to change, and it was coming from the angle of she thought I had money and was not just spending. She would come, because she was the one who was working, so she would come home with money, she would come home, buy things here and there, but I really could not buy things. Maybe it was ridiculous for her to think at the time that I did not have, how can't you have money? Now, she's a Lagos person, so the hustle spirit has always been in her. So if somehow she will make money. I didn't grow up with that mentality. I didn't grow up with that drive. So I didn't know how to make money. I just did not know what to do, So she did, it was ridiculous to her. Like, how would you say you don't have money? But I didn't have. And there are nights that she'll wake me up and just tell me, oh, she feels like I have money, I'm just not spending it. I would cry and be like, how can you even think that kind of thing? And then things started getting really bad between us. And a lot of things I can't share here because I've told myself that as much as, like, whatever she could have done at the time, I would take it as though she did not know. It was not her fault. It was not intentional. I mean, if you're staying with someone and you're already tired of staying with the person and you're getting tense and there's a possibility that you would act in that manner. It doesn't mean you're a wicked person. It may just mean that you're just tired of having the person around, so you're beginning to react in an unwelcoming manner to the person so the person can leave your house on time. But of everything, the fact that she even took me in at first, the fact that she even took me in has overwritten anything else that might have been. So I don't want to talk about the things that she did. It's not a conversation for here. But then I fast forward to 6 months after that time, I had to leave her house. At this point, my dad was still not speaking with me. My mom had called me, tried to beg me to come home, but I told her, and I remember in my words, it was, if I don't get a job in Lagos, I'm not coming to Ibadan. If I don't get a job, I'm not coming to Ibadan. So how I was going to get the job, I did not know. Eventually, after I left my friend's place, I moved in with a childhood friend of mine who I linked up with along the line, Mabel. She's my friend now, and you probably have watched our video before. I'm going to put it here. She's currently my friend, and she took me in. I stayed with her and her roommate Shil, who is late at the moment. She's of blessed memory. She passed on 2 months before today. May her soul rest in peace. And I decided to stay with them. So at this point, I had gotten a job. Now, this is another chapter. I got a job at a company that had a very big name. When I say big name, big name. And this is a company that people would break heads, roll heads to actually get a slot in or at. I got this job and I was there from 2016 down till 2019 when I left. Between these 3 years, I'm not even joking, my salary was 30,000 naira for 2 years, and then it increased to 50,000 naira for the last 1 year. Then you ask me, how were you coping at this time? So when I got this job, I reached out to my dad, and I told my dad that I told my dad that I had gotten a job eventually, and he, at this point, he had calmed down from the feeling and the anger, and he asked me more about the job. So what's this job about, etc. And I told him what the job was about, and he was okay with it. That kind of made us start talking again. So we started to speak again once in a while. I started to go home because at this point I had a job, but what I didn't tell him was what I was earning at the job. I was earning 30k, and along the line, remember that I said I was staying with Mabel and her roommate. Mabel and her roommate had to leave their house as well. They had to change houses, or something shall happen at the time that they had to stop staying in that house. So I was back to square one. I was back to looking for a place to stay. So at this point, I reached out to Oma, who was staying with her family far away from along Yano Ipaja area. I'd reached out to her to say, oh, I need a place to stay. I don't mind if I have to start paying the rent every month. She should just please help me get somewhere. So she reached out to me one day and said, oh, she has this friend who is staying in a 3-bedroom with her sister, and one of the rooms was empty. It was Agbagada. I said, okay, no problem. How much are they saying? She said, oh, that they are saying that I would have to pay I'll have to pay 30k per month for the whole year for that room. So I looked at it. If I'm paying 30k per month for a year, 30k is literally my salary for a month. And if it's Bagada, I have to, what's the name? I have to mobilize to work. It just didn't make sense. But at that point, life, when life happens to you, sometimes you don't even give things, you don't give certain things a second thought. So at that point, I'm like, well, I go rough more. If 30k is my salary and 30k is the house rent for a month, I might as well just let me even have a place that I can have a certain level of sanity, like where I can be by myself. So I opted for the option, and then I started staying in the room. It was a one room, but I could not afford to get a bed. I could not afford to get a lot of things. The room already had a cupboard, so that was good. I had this blanket at the time that I had from NYC, so I started sleeping on this blanket. I started sleeping on this blanket, and then I would leave the house and go to work. And there were days when I didn't like, I had enough to take me to work, but I didn't have enough to bring me back. There were days when I would go to work with body pain because I was sleeping on the floor, and I still had to go to work because when these things happen to you, you really cannot share with a lot of people. So I'll go to work, and I was just getting by each day. Days I'll be able to go to work, and then I'll walk back. My office was at Yaba then, so I'll walk I'll work for a bit so that whatever I have can take me home from that point. It's just to shorten my journey. And there were also days that I had to go to work, but I honestly did not have a dime. And I would go to the bus stop, and I would literally beg someone to please pay my tea fare. And then I'll do the same thing coming back. I was at this job for 3 years, and this was literally what I had to go through until myself and my dad had a conversation. I'm going to get there. So while I was at this job, which is another conversation, this was a workplace where I was not allowed to show my ability, what I could do. I felt like at this place I was covered up a lot. I was not allowed to maximize my ability. I was always having panic attack going to work. Even while I'm at the office, it just felt like I was an outcast until 2019 when I had to leave. Before 2019 and before I left, my dad had called me and had said, look, he still doesn't want me staying alone in Lagos. I mean, it's fine with me staying in Lagos, no problem, stay in Lagos, but you have to stay with my brother. At that point, I wasn't even staying comfortably, so it was not even an option. Like, it wasn't even a thing where I had to question or not question. Like, no problem, I'll stay at your brother's place. I'm even tired. So I started staying with my uncle and his family, and they were really, really nice to me. They were good to me, and I stayed with them for a while until I left to stay on my own finally. In 2019, I eventually left this job that wasn't really serving me, and at that point I decided that I was done with any job that would have to make me work so hard without result, work so hard without a certain recognition of my effort. So I decided I was going to just be an executive assistant. Like, let me just know that I'm doing a job that entails me helping somebody and helping somebody, and it's not like anything that has to do with actually carrying out a task that demands, some encouragement, demands some, applause. I was just done. I didn't even care how much I was going to be making. I mean, this is me that I was earning 30k, 50k for 3 years. Let me, even if I get a job for 100k, it's okay. Which is a very bad place to be in life, where you have to level yourself because life has thrown you curveballs. Level yourself because you just don't see because you just don't see your worth. So at this point, I started applying for roles as an executive assistant, and I'm just like, let me just have something I'm doing. Regular life, nothing too extra. I'm tired, I'm stressed, I can't do this anymore. And then 2019, I got this role as an executive assistant with a particular company, and I went for the interview. When I got there, it was the same building as a very popular tech platform. So I saw the company and I'm like, this wasn't where I applied to, but it's okay. Waited a bit, and then the person who was to interview me came, and I saw her, and she happened to be my boss now, the person who is currently my boss. But how it happened was interesting. So I went for the interview, and she's asking me, so why do you want the role, etc, yada yada yada. And then I just told her, I'm fine. I told you I was talking to her. I said, she's looking at me like there was no excitement. Like, it was just obvious that, man, just let me just get the role and be making money every month, that's all. And then she looked at my CV, looked at where I'd worked before, looked at some other certifications I had, and her question was, you have all of this and you want to work here, why? But I couldn't tell her the details, like, oh, where I used to work before, this is what happened, or this is what I've gone through. So I just told her that this is what it is. And then she looked at me that day and said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you this job here. I'm going to send your CV to my company and they will get back to you. At this point, I'm like, why? Like, why? I didn't want anything that was going to, I just didn't want to try. And thankfully, God did it, and I got this job. And then I started this job. And then at the time, salary was a little over 100k. So at this point, myself and my dad had a conversation about staying alone, and I had to really do some trust conversation thing. Like, Dad, I know you love me, I know you're looking out for me, I know you mean me well, but I need you to trust me. Yes, Lagos is a dangerous place, but people survive in Lagos, don't they? Like, just allow me stay by myself. I need to stay by myself because it was too much staying with people, having this issue, having that issue. Eventually my dad agreed, and then I got a place, which is this place where this is my room. And I got this place, and it was not a lot of money, but I decided I'm like, you know what, let me even have a place I can call my own. So my dad sent me some money that eventually I didn't get because GT Bank did some nonsense thing at the time, but I mean, it sent me something, and then I added to it. Just saved up here and there. Then I started to stone fabrics. I would stone fabrics from 9 p.m. till 4 a.m. the next day, because I was getting fabrics in bulk to stone because I needed to make money. So I'll just keep stoning and stoning. I won't sleep. I'll still have to go to work. I was just saving and saving, and I was able to save to get this place. And this was in 2019. Thankfully, it was close to my workplace as well. And from 2019 till now, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. God has been faithful to me. God has shown me what it means to experience love in the midst of chaos. It wasn't so easy, it wasn't seamless, it wasn't smooth, but I am definitely not where I used to be. I am definitely not where I used to be. I have grown, I have evolved. I I have a job that is amazing. I head my department at work. I have my own brand that is thriving. I mean, I have amazing people around me. Before I wrap up this video, at this time when all of this was happening, one thing that kept me going was God, of course, and then also good people. I had good people at this time. One person that I will give it all to after God, of course, after my parents and their support, is a man called Paul Omugwe. The thing is, he may not watch this video, but if he does, this is somebody who, at the time when it was really hard for me, when I was working at the first company, Paul was the financial lead at the time, the head of finance. I can't count number of days Paul will give my salary ahead of time just so that I can get by. I can't count number of times Paul will give me my stipend. Even if when people were collecting stipend and I wasn't collecting it, he will still find a way. And it became someone that I could talk to. I could share personal things with. And right now, Paul is still my friend. For my brand, that is Mostly of Lagos, Paul is my mentor. Paul is my business advisor. Paul is someone that will always be relevant in my growth, in my story. And I'm really thankful to you, Paul. You may not see this, but yeah, I'm really thankful to you. I had good people at the time. Oluchi, when I was staying at Bagada, Oluchi's house, interestingly, was just 2 buildings from my house. Somehow God did it and I realized she was staying just 2 houses from my house. And Oluchi will always come and check up on me and just, see how. The first time she entered my room, Oluchi was shocked. Like, you sleep on the floor, and Oluchi is still my friend even now. And even, after that time, years after, I've met people, I've lost people, not even like they died though, like friends that were not friends anymore because life happened. But I would say that at the moment I'm in a good place. I have friends that are like sisters, are like brothers. We support each other, we love each other. I've become a better person, I've become a stronger person. And I'm not where I used to be. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I used to be. And I'm thankful to God. Myself and my dad are good now, guys. We're not fighting anymore. Guys, we're amazing. Myself and my mom we're also amazing. Myself and my cousin, we've reconciled. And Ella, she may not see this, but I just want to say thank you for even allowing me stay at your place. I know we had a fallout, things didn't really go as it should, but we've been able to reconcile, and you're still my big sister and I love you, but I just want to say thank you for even allowing. And like everything that happened at the time definitely happened because it was a time in my life when I didn't know anything. I didn't even know how to get by life, so I was doing a lot of things based on how I thought was okay, but now I'm better and I've grown, and I'm thankful to you as well. My other friend, the one I stayed with after I stayed with my cousin, like I said, we're not friends anymore, but I will still say I'm still thankful to her because, like I said, even in the inconvenience that she was going through, she still was able to take me in. It means a lot to me. Just like I said earlier as well, it was a time in my life when I really did not have a lot of things figured out, but that little thing that was done, I could have stayed under the bridge, but you allowed me to stay at your place, and I'm really thankful to that. And I hope God blesses you. I pray God blesses you. Yes, we don't speak anymore, but I pray God blesses you, and also God rewards you for the good deeds that you do. You've done to me and you've done to people as well. Yeah, I think I could go on and on with the list, but the video does keep being long and long and long. I just really hope that this has encouraged somebody. It might seem like it's not making sense now. It might seem like it's a tough journey. It might seem like it's a narrow road. But look, you will look back and you would ask yourself, how did I get through this? And the only way you can get to that point is if you keep moving. Keep moving, keep praying, keep trusting. And in everything, look for good people around you that can be pillars of support to you. And don't give up on yourself. Don't delabel yourself. You have it, you are worth it. And if you are worth it, you will get to that place that your value will be respected, your value will be recognized. I just hope this encourages you. Don't give up. Don't give up. It will only get better. And you look back and you smile. And just like they say that, there's light at the end of the tunnel, I always say that if you don't keep moving, you can't see the lights. The light is there, but you have to keep moving to see the light. And I hope that you hold this as a take home and an inspiring note as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Sorry, I have to be a crybaby in this video because it's my story and I'm glad I'm able to share it now. It means that your baby girl has grown and she's doing a lot better. Thank you so much. Till the next video, I remain yours sincerely, Mo. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you really enjoyed it or you encouraged you one way or the other. Until next time, don't forget to stay amazing. Bye guys.